So I see her take out this big ass needle and I was like, no one ever told me about that. We're not doing it. What is up guys, it's Sophie. As you can tell by the title, I'm going to be doing another story time video about the time that I found out I had a tumor in my tit. I just want to point out a few things before I do start. Number one, the main reason why I am making this video is because when this was happening to me, or when I was going through this, I searched up my situation and found a bunch of other videos just like this, like story time, talking about the same thing, other girls that were going through the same thing. That's the main reason why I'm doing this, because that helped me so much to like understand what was going on to me, what I was gonna have to go through, things like that. And then also the second thing that I want to point out is my personality is naturally like comical, and when I'm telling stories or just talking, I tend to make jokes because that like I just do it automatically, like that's just the type of person that I am. But what actually did happen in the moment wasn't funny. I was actually like terrified and like really scared. So yeah, we're gonna talk about it. So that's basically it. We're gonna get started with the video, so enjoy. This all started months ago. I believe it was December when this first happened, or the end of November. It started with me finding a lump in my left breast. And also, if the word breast, like, you're like, ew, then you're too young to be on YouTube. I don't know why you clicked the yes to the terms and conditions, because you're obviously under the age of 13. So you should click off. So yeah, I found a lump in my left breast. It was fairly small, and I wasn't like scared, but I was a little bit nervous because I'm very paranoid. And also, the first thing obviously that someone thinks when they find a lump in their breast is like cancer. So that's like honestly the first thing that I thought. Also, my grandmother passed away from cancer, so from breast cancer. That was like the first thing that I thought. I was like, oh my goodness. So yeah, I got nervous and I told my mom right away, and then we got a doctor's appointment, and then they checked it out. My regular pediatrician checked it out, and she was like, you should come back in 2 weeks. Just come back in 2 weeks and then we'll see what happened. And I was like tight, because I was like, you don't want to tell me now like what I have or what's going on? But no, she was like, come back in 2 weeks. We waited longer than that because since my pediatrician dialed it down as to though it was nothing, like nothing to worry about, this is nothing, it's fine, it's whatever, like you're growing, that's why it happened. I sort of let my guard down and I was like, okay. So I think actually like 4 weeks went by until we went back again. And so we went back again, and it was another doctor there because my pediatrician wasn't in, and she checked me out again, and the lump grew. It got bigger. So the other doctor, the next doctor that I saw, the second one, was just like, I'm going to refer you to a gynecologist. A gynecologist is basically a doctor who specializes in women's health. It's more specific than what my pediatrician would be able to do. We waited a while again, I don't know why, until we got the gynecologist appointment, but we did. I go to the gynecologist to get my first checkup, and basically I'm getting a breast ultrasound done. So it's like an ultrasound that they do for pregnant women, except it's on your breast. So they did that to me. I was so scared. Like I was so freaking scared. Like I was in this dark room with the nurse who was doing the ultrasound. And here's when I started crying. I started crying during this. Again, in the back of my mind, I was wondering, do I have breast cancer? Do I have breast cancer? Because I didn't know about anything else. So I was just so scared because of that. I started crying because I asked her, I was like, is everything okay? Like while she was doing it, I was like, is everything okay? Like, is there something wrong? And she said, I don't know. You don't know? You don't know? Sis, you don't know? And then when she said that, I started crying. Like I literally started crying. I'm laughing now, but in the moment, like I was not laughing. I was like legit terrified. She made it worse because she was making it seem like there was something wrong. She was like, is there anyone here with you? Do you have someone here with you right now? I was like, yes, but like why does that matter? I'm asking if there's something wrong. Like, do you see anything? I was trying to say like, do you see cancer? But I don't know how that works. I don't know if you can see that through an ultrasound. I don't know how it works. She's the nurse, she should know better than me, and she's out here saying I don't know. Like, what do you mean you don't know? She was like, do you want me to get your dad? Because my dad was there with me. And I was just like, yes, like get my father, please bring him in here because you're not helping. And I was like a wreck. Like I was crying. I was like and then when she left the room, I started sobbing to myself. I was like, oh my god. So she brought him in the room, my dad in the room, and he was trying to calm me down. He was like, please don't cry. Like, why are you crying? And the nurse was just like, I'm gonna bring the doctor in. I'll be right back. So my dad's just like waiting in there with me, and I'm just like scared. Like, and in the back of my mind, like I'm thinking about like, do I have cancer? Because it does run in my family. So I was so scared. So the doctor comes in, who was so sweet, by the way, like the main doctor. She came in and then she saw me crying and she was like, no, there's nothing to worry about. So then she basically did the same thing that the nurse did. She was like doing the ultrasound again, and then she checked me out. She was just like, okay, I think I know what this is. She was like, maybe we should talk in my office. And like all of these terms, like all of these things that they were saying sounded so scary. Like if you were hearing it, you'd be like, I feel like they're gonna say something big. Like I feel like it'd be like, bitch, you have 2 weeks to live. Like, so I was getting scared. I was like, wow, like what's going on? So she's like, maybe we should talk in my office. And I was like, no, tell me right now, what do I have? What's going on? She was like, we can take a walk to my office. I was like, no, like tell me now, like what is it? And then that's when she was like, I think you have a fibroadenoma. That's how you pronounce it, I think. Which, for those of you who don't know, I didn't know what it is when she said it. It is a benign tumor that occurs in a lot of women. So that night, I searched it up and I found videos of girls explaining like their experience, doing the same type of video that I'm doing right now. So she said that she was 99% sure that it was a fibroadenoma. So I was still crying because I was like, what's that 1% though? So we go into her office to have like a formal conversation, because I was in like a gown because they had to do the ultrasound. So I got changed and then we went into her office, and then she was basically explaining to me what it was and how it occurs in a lot of women. And actually when I searched it up, it's actually more common in African American women. So all of like the criteria for a fibroadenoma like matched up with exactly what I had. If it had like jagged edges, like not jagged but like sharp edges, like you can feel where the lump ends and where it begins, and that's what I had. Like I could feel that. It occurs in women that are around my age. Like I don't want to say the age because I'm gonna get it wrong, but like it's very common in teenagers. She explained all of it, and then she told me that it's benign, meaning that it's not cancerous, but it's still a tumor and it's able to grow. So she gave me two options. She was just like, you can either leave it in or you can get it removed. I was just like, automatically I want to get it removed. Like I'm getting it surgically removed. I do not want to leave this in my breasts. I'm not doing that. She was like, okay, but to make sure that it's a fibroadenoma, we should have you do a biopsy. And I was like, what do you mean to make sure? Because sister, a second ago you said that you were sure. So what is the truth? What's the deal? So the breast biopsy is this procedure that they're going to do. They take a sample of my breast tissue or of the lump, and then they send it to a lab, and the lab will tell them what exactly it is. She was saying, people need to stop texting me. She was telling me how she was 99% sure that it was a fibroadenoma. She was like, I'm so sure, like I would bet all my money on a fibroadenoma diagnosis. I wasn't feeling that. I'm sure, I'm 99% sure. I wanted to know, I am certain, I'm 100%. So I was like, let's do this biopsy because I need to know. So we scheduled the biopsy for right away, and this was right before I went to London. So I got the biopsy done a day before I went to London, and I just remember being so scared because nothing like this had ever happened to me. I realized later they're technically not allowed to say 100% because let's just say it was breast cancer. She could get in trouble. Like if we wanted to, we could sue her. If she said I am 100% sure that it is not cancerous and it turned out to be cancerous, like she could get in trouble. So that's why she was saying 99% sure and not 100% sure. I know that now, but in the moment I wasn't having it. So we scheduled the biopsy. We go in a day before I go to London. They gave me the option to do it after I came back from traveling, but I was like, no, like I will not have a good trip if I don't know what is wrong with me. And I actually found out that it was a fibroadenoma in the middle of the London trip, because they were just like, we can send you your results after you guys get back, or we can call you while you're there. And I was like, yes, tell me while I'm there. Call my mom, tell her while we're there. Fast forward to the day before I leave for London. I go in for this biopsy. By the way, we were like 30 minutes late. I knew that it started at 8. Apparently my mom heard 8:30, but it was really 8. So we were late, and so we had to wait a little while. Like my mom took me this time instead of my dad. They have me change into the gown again. Then we go in to the room where I'm getting the procedure done, and I'm waiting to get my biopsy. So the doctor comes in. It's a different doctor this time, and she introduces herself to me. So I see her take out this big ass needle, and I was like, no one ever told me about that. We're not doing it. I am so scared of needles. I changed my mind on the table. Like I was laying there waiting. I was like, no, I don't want to do it. Like no one ever said that there would be a needle. Like you guys didn't tell me that. She was like, there's no way around it. Like we have to use a needle. I was like, okay, so then no, like no. I started crying. And then they had to calm me down. The nurse had to calm me down. My mom had to calm me down. They were like, do you want an eye mask? Literally like the eye masks that you sleep with. They offered me one of those so that I wouldn't be able to see it, because I couldn't just rely on closing my eyes, because knowing me, like I would open it, see the needle, and like freak out. So I was like, yes, can I get an eye mask please? They gave me an eye mask, and basically how it works is they put the needle that they stick into your breast. So first they numb it, and the numbing actually burns. Like while it's numbing, it burns for like a couple seconds, and then your boob is entirely numb. And then they put the needle in, then they extract a bunch of, not a bunch, like a few samples, and then they send it off to the lab. So that was it. It wasn't necessarily painful, it was just so much pressure, and I hate knowing that there's pressure on my boobs. The entire thing I think lasted about like 8 minutes, like from when she first numbed me to when it was over. I think it was like 8 minutes in total. I couldn't shower for 24 hours, and I couldn't lift heavy things. When I was going to London, like my dad had to like help me carry my suitcase and stuff like that. I didn't bruise, but there was swelling. Like there was some swelling, and it was very sore. After the lidocaine wore off, it was very sore, and it did swell up. Maybe there was bruising, but I just didn't notice it, but I didn't see any bruising. That was basically what happened. All I remember is crying. I am getting it surgically removed. I still have it today. We are scheduling a procedure to get it surgically removed either before or after February break. Even since the biopsy, it has grown, which is another one of the reasons why I want to take it out soon. My lump now is significantly bigger than when I first discovered it. Yeah, so I am getting it surgically removed, and I might vlog that too. I'm not sure. I might. Let me know if you want to see that. So yeah, that was basically it for this video. If you guys liked it, give it a thumbs up. If it was boring, I'm sorry. I just decided to talk about it because I thought I would make a video too. So just in case like anybody else goes through the same thing and then they search it up, they can see like my experience and how I'm fine now. Like I'm good. If you are diagnosed with a fibroadenoma, they are very, very, very common. So you'll be good. You'll be fine. So thank you guys for watching. I love you all very much, and I will see you this Saturday with another new video. Hold on, let me check so that I don't play y'all. I love you. Bye.